Joining us here on the show is our good friend from NFL Network and NFL.com, analyst and good old-fashioned good guy, Adam Rank, joining us this morning on the show. Adam, good morning.
Good morning. Always a pleasure to be back on the mothership. And by the way, congratulations to Sean too. He broke the news to me as I was sitting there on the. I don't know if I'm spoiling it for everybody else, but wow, what a time to be alive, huh?
I'm wondering if you're giving him congratulations on his upcoming child, or that Daniel Jones is 2-0.
You know what? I felt like I was going to leave it open-ended to
Okay.
allow your own interpretation. It's
Okay.
like watching, an M. Night Shyamalan movie or something like that. Like, oh, I took a different ending from that. I think both of those things are. I don't know which he's more excited for though, because I mean the kid's fine, but it's not here yet. You can see Daniel Jones go out there and deal on the field, so it's got to be a tough one.
Was it true that you were actually watching football as a member of the NFL Network and NFL.com? You were watching football from a baseball game yesterday.
Why is he ratting me out? Why does this even need to come up? Like we don't have to pull back the curtain on everything. There's some things that can remain a secret, I wear lifts in my shoes. Do I have to admit that as well? Like, what's going on? You know what, though? This is what I do. Like, this is one of the cool things about the all-new NFL Fantasy app. See, now I'm going to go into pitch mode,
Nice.
And you brought it on yourself.
Nice.
The all-new NFL Fantasy app allows you to watch games wherever you are. So it was it's the Angels, so we're on the West Coast. So the games are pretty much over by the time the game starts, so you can get through all the 10 a.m. games out here. It was kind of like when we had. Well, I guess we still have we have the Rams again. Who knew? You get to watch all the morning games, and then you go into the stadium and you watch. And obviously, we had the Bears. I got had the Bears on the TV, I had the Rams on my phone, and now I'm going back and watching some of the other afternoon games.
Yeah, I don't blame you for being able to go back and watch everything. I just can't believe you went to a baseball game that had no meaning to then miss football.
Oh, it had meaning. That's the one thing. Like, that's what I was telling Sean is, like, my kids love going to baseball games. My daughter is 4, and she's a handful. She's all over the place. She's a house of fire. She's all that stuff. And you get her to a baseball game, and she'll be locked in and actually watch the game. She knows all the Angel names and all the players by face. It's like a parlor trick we can take. We can take her to weddings and just pull up the phone and be like, who's this? And she's like, Jonathan Lucroy. Actually, Lucroy ended the season with the Cubs, I think it was. And she was watching a game randomly, and she's like, oh, look, there's Jonathan Lucroy. I'm like, listen, I don't do a lot of good things in my life. My fantasy advice is meh, but I am raising a kid that loves baseball, so I think there's something redeeming about me.
That's good parenting. Adam Rank joins us here on the show. What'd you think about the disaster that was Kirk Cousins yesterday? I mean, if you're a Vikings fan against your Bears, you have to think that the world is over, that you'll never get to the next level. Not with that guy, right?
Yeah, it's really got to be disappointing. The big hoopla around bringing him in. This was supposed to be the final piece. So close to a Super Bowl previously with Case Keenum that, hey, once they got in Kirk Cousins, this was going to be the guy. And the most disappointing thing it's got to be is the way that they've handled him. I mean, last year they had him throwing the ball all over the field. They fired DeFilippo. They went to Kevin Stefanski because they wanted to run the ball. You give a guy, $84 million guaranteed, and he's a game manager, you're not trusting him? It's like the guys when you walk up to the blackjack table and you hope not to lose, you're going to lose. Scared money don't make money. Either let Kirk Cousins go and deal and throw the ball all over the yard. I know it's not the way that you probably want to win, but you can't play scared all the time because when you ask him to go out there and make plays, that offense looks terrible, and he's never going to be able to get into a rhythm if you allow him to throw 10 passes a game. They got to start taking chances.
Who earned more respect in a loss for you? The Lions losing to the Chiefs or the Bills losing to the Patriots?
I thought, both teams played very well, and I thought that the Lions really were on the cusp of pulling the upset there. The thing is that I think the Lions are a lot more of a serious contender than people are going to give them credit for. That was one of the things that we started to see at the end of last season. Now, last year, the Bears famously beat the Rams on Sunday Night Football, and the Rams started being exposed a little bit. But that started with the Lions. They had the game plan. They were the ones who kind of put out the blueprint of how to slow down the Rams. So they were just a couple of personnel decisions away from really improving. And so even though that they weren't able to escape yesterday with the victory, I think that they're definitely a real contender. I mean, honestly, like as a Bears fan, I worry more about the Lions than I do the Vikings. And I'm not happy for the Bills, but I thought the Bills looked pretty good, and I want to see how Josh Allen's going to be able to respond moving forward.
Adam Rank joins us here on the show from NFL Network. In that crazy Buccaneers-Rams game that finishes 55-40, what's the more eye-opening quarterback play, that Jameis Winston looked that good or that Jared Goff could look that bad?
Yeah, that was one of the things. Has Bruce Arians, has he figured out Jameis Winston? Because that's one of the things that we thought. You know, we've seen flashes previously. We've seen him go out and dominate for a stretch of time, but never really quite bought in. And now with Bruce Arians, there's somebody who has a pedigree of turning quarterbacks around. And after week one, we're like, well, it's never going to happen. You know, we were too quick to dismiss it. And week four is really when these guys really get a sense of where they're going to be. And man, I'm trying not to get – I've gotten my hopes up before. It's like every time I go in to see a DC movie, it's like I know how this is going to go. Like not everybody, like I get it. Like I'm hopeful this is going to be the one that turns it around. But you know what? I was shocked. You know, I before the game, I didn't think that the Rams cornerbacks had played really well. They've got, when Aqib Talib's out there, he shuts down their number one guy, and then wow, Jameis Winston's out there throwing it all over the field. He's got both guys going off this week. I was worried a little bit. As somebody who started Mike Evans in fantasy, I'm like, hey, bro, like don't make this one guy goes off one week and the other guy goes off the next. I need a little – and then he throws the 67-yarder to Evans. I'm like, okay, thank you. I appreciate that. And I thought that was impressive. I thought that Jared Goff made some poor choices. And I think that team's talented too. But it's like, man, they have not looked the same ever since the end of last year. And now, as much as people talk about quarterback play of Kirk Cousins, I would even throw Mitch Trubisky in the mix as well. Like, what is up with Jared Goff? Like, is he going to be the guy going forward? And that guy's already been paid. Like, the Rams have already invested in him. So that's a tough one, and we'll see how they bounce back on Thursday night against the Seahawks. But this is not indicative of where I think that the Rams wanted to be for sure.
Yeah, Adam Rank joins us from NFL Network at NFL.com. The Sunday Nighter, all field goals, Saints 12-10 over the Cowboys. Did you think that was more a sign of the Saints' defense being great or alarming that the Cowboys' offense was so below mediocre?
No, the Saints have good personnel. They've been giving up a lot of big plays on defense and hadn't really kind of stepped up this season. But I think that any time, this is what happens in the NFL week to week. Things change so rapidly that when you have a team that it is that talented, and they've got a lot of great players on that defensive side of the football, I just thought it was a good match. I just thought it was a good struggle. I didn't think that the offenses were necessarily playing poorly. I just thought that the defenses were making plays, and I think that these are two good teams. I think the Cowboys are going to be competing for a playoff spot, obviously. The Saints are going to be as well. And you know what? Ever since Drew Brees went down with that thumb injury, the defense has really stepped up and really helped them out. And, this is just one of those instances when you have to rally around something. And it's been put on the defense for the next couple of weeks. Like, hey, without Drew Brees, we've got to go out there. We can't rely on Drew Brees bailing us out of holes where we get down by 10, 15 points or anything like that. So they went out there and played well. So I would side with the defense. I don't think if you're a Cowboys fan, you should be too concerned. I'm still a big believer in Dak Prescott. I would have liked to have gotten Ezekiel Elliott involved a little bit more. I thought that his usage was a little spotty, but you know what? It's one of those games. I wouldn't worry too much about it, but I still think that you just have to give credit to the defense sometimes.
I am consistently underwhelmed by comic book movies, so now I'm never excited about any of them, except this Joker film looks pretty solid, right? Are you in on this Joaquin Phoenix?
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm a big Batman mark. So you'll never get me to say anything bad about it. And I think that it looks awesome. I think it looks like an homage to a early Robert De Niro film with Jerry Lewis called The King of Comedy. And I don't know if they're kind of playing off that. I'm like, nobody, like, unless you're like a film. I remember studying it when I was in college because, I went to a state school, so we got to do stuff like that. And I remember that movie, and I'm like, is this a remake? Like, what's going on? But it looks exceptional. I think all the Batman movies have always knocked it out of the park. That's the one. Like, when you're a DC fan, you always have to kind of wear it from the mark. It's like being a Mets fan. It's like, we don't have a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know what? The Batman movies, he's our Alonzo. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, we got the rookie home run record with Batman, but the rest of it, you're like, well, Wonder Woman's great, but it's like, okay, but the rest of it. So I'm all in. I'm all in on the Joker.
Yeah, I am too. I think actually King of Comedy was their inspiration. I think I read that. Hey, before I let you go, I got to let you know in the final 30 seconds, I really like your hipster mixologist costume.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Yeah. I think that's a good
My friend that was based on did not like that. But yes, thank you.
I think that's a good look for you. I don't know if you actually mix up cocktails like that with suspenders, but I run into those people quite often here in Brooklyn.
You know what? Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I think I felt like everybody on the coast could identify. Like, everybody knows that jerk mixologist like that is just too like, oh my, nah, we use bitters or like, okay, whatever, hot shot. Just make me a margarita. Like, shut up. You're fine.
Hey, give me a light beer. That's all I'm looking for right now. Adam Rank joining us from NFL Network and NFL.com. Also, your favorite fantasy analyst. Follow him on Twitter at Adam Rank. Thank you, brother. Let me know when you're back in the area, okay?
DA, thank you so much. I appreciate it. You're the only one that can interrupt me during a Bears game, and I will respond positively.
Okay. Thanks very much. Adam Rank joining us this morning on the show.